Hello, everybody, to Nibbling in the Details. This is episode number 2, and we have an amazing guest. We have an award-winning comedian. Chris Locke is here. He just released a special yesterday called Tiki Madness. It's fantastic. I've already watched it. It made me laugh out loud. It's so good, and we're so excited to have him. Give it up for Chris Locke. Woo!
Yes. Thanks for having me, and thanks for watching the special.
Yeah, but it's great, man. I love silly comedy. It's so good. And how does it feel
Me,
for you?
um, yeah, it's very, very loose and silly. It was caught, like, it captures a really sort of like free falling time when, yeah, my agent has a production company and they really wanted me to do a special. But I was kind of like just coming off of doing a two-man show in the Edinburgh Fringe Fest. That
Oh
was
yeah.
all loose and improv with Sean Cullen called Two Sailors Who Are Nuts. And then I had about 3 months to prepare for this special, so I feel a lot of that like free forming energy is brought to this thing, and I
Oh
and
yeah.
I really like playing with my friends. So yeah, as you saw, yeah, I brought my good old time hilarious pal Aaron Eves on to play Arno the bartender.
Yeah, that was great. I felt like it's very unusual for most specials, right? And you take a pause and you take your time and then you can
Hmm.
like yeah, it was great. Like you built up the energy and then like kind of like took it aside for a bit and then brought it back. It was great.
Thanks. Yeah, so I was like, there's people out there who stand up is this way. It's what
Mm.
the guys at the Comedy Cellar in New York do, and if you kind of like waver too much from that formula, then you're not doing it right. And so I think technically I'm a guy who I've evolved into this sort of like all-round performer versus like that kind of classic idea of stand up. So, I headline comedy clubs and stuff and kill and make most people have a great night and laugh a lot, but I really don't think I do stand up the quote unquote right way.
Is there
And
a
so I
right way?
feel like, well, you know what I'm saying? It's like
I know what you're saying.
I don't care because I like just being silly in every which way I can. And so I think the special really represents that, which is really nice.
That's great. Yes. And how did
You
your
know,
Edinburgh show go?
Well, I don't know if you've heard of anybody doing Edinburgh before, but it's pretty hard going in the sense that you have to like flyer and promote your stuff, and there's like 3,000 comedy shows, 5,000 shows, or something like that total in Edinburgh, and it's super busy. This was August 2024, and I filmed it December 2024, the special. But yeah, me and Sean Cullen are sort of like we love going up there with nothing and creating a whole show.
Mm-hmm.
Um, with just our wits, like in the moment, and so it was really really fun that way. And we did get a sort of like repeat fan base audience that was coming back to our shows. So in that sense, it was successful. In the sense that um, we lost about 10 grand each just to do it. That's one of the things about Edinburgh.
Yeah.
That part happened, but the actual performance and meeting everybody and having a good time was really, really fun.
Yeah. You
So
probably
yeah,
developed so much from it. So it's like almost like paying like a 1 month university fee.
yeah. And then I think we met at Heckler's like um a few months after that special was done.
Yeah, I must have.
Like March of 2025. Was that the one where you were hosting, I think, or
I think I did a guest spot.
okay, yeah, that was really good. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah,
So
Heckler's
there
is
you
a great
go.
spot.
Yeah, I love it.
And
And you're out of Victoria, right?
yes.
Yeah. Very nice. And you have a tour called like Shitty Dads or something?
Yeah, just the worst dads ever. Just we don't even giving our kids smokes dads. It's called deadbeat dads.
Yeah, Deadbeat
Yes.
Dads. That's awesome.
Pretty much the same thing. Uh,
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
so we're not actually bad dads. It's just try to be a catchy name, you know. If
I
can't be
totally
like
know.
nobody would go to see a show like the best dads ever.
I know, sometimes like I talk about that a lot sometimes, but people bring it up about like, hey, like you're dark or negative sometimes. It's like the nice stuff is not funny. It's not
Yeah.
exciting. Like I have a really great relationship with my daughters. I'm a close, fun dad. We laugh and grow together and have this great relationship with my family. But on stage, like that's not what you want to talk about. You want to exaggerate the craziness. That's funnier,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
It has to be that one moment in the month where you like they drove you crazy. That's the thing you're gonna write about, not the other 29 days.
Exactly. Yeah. Happiness is kind of like not funny or exciting.
Yeah. That's why you gotta, yeah. That's why so many
Yeah.
comedians I think, are afraid of therapy, right? Because they're afraid
Yeah.
of being happy.
But I do think that therapy um actually gives you a better grip on some of the nuggets you can exploit. You know
That
what I'm
is true.
saying?
You
You
get
can
to
shape it a bit
identify
better. Yeah.
100.
Yeah, I think a lot of like it's weird it's like cuz I think, as a stand-up we come across every now and then there's like speckles of very literal minded audience members in the crowd and so a lot of my humor for example comes from exaggerating the neuroses inside my own mind. Like I think a lot of comics are like that. So it'll be clearly a silly version of like some sort of hell thought, and then you get some audience members going like, "No, that's not true," and you're like, "Well, yeah, I know, but the truth part would be not comedy." You know what I mean? Like if you're like exaggerating paranoia or fret or something, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a blown out proportion. Like, what are those like Picasso? It's like going up to Picasso and being like, that doesn't look real," you know?
Yeah, that's not a hot chick I want to kiss.
Face is all wonky.
How many kids
Nice.
do you have?
I have two. Um,
Sweet, me
but
too.
yeah, mine are 8 and 5. How old are yours?
7 and 9.
Oh yeah, nice. Pretty similar.
It's pretty similar, yeah.
Is that where a lot of your jokes come from nowadays?
Yeah, but I'm trying to like, because I'm in my 40s, so if I'm doing like a broader club or a broader sort of room, leaning into that stuff a lot or jumping off, using that as a jumping off point is great. But like, if you go to hip, cool comedy shows, you know, everyone's pretty young, so you don't want to just have kid material. I'm trying to like,
Yeah.
yeah, trying to riff on a lot of like just stupid thoughts again these days. Trying to bring it back since I have exploited the being a dad stuff a bit. You know what I mean? You got to kind
Mhm.
of keep it healthy mix.
For sure, yeah. Especially those big cities, they don't have kids. Like you go to a crowd, it could
No,
be one person claps for having kids.
yeah, I'm in Toronto and nobody's having kids. They're just doing cocaine forever and acting like kids until they're dead. Yeah.
That's crazy to me. But um,
Yeah,
and
getting old in Toronto is like a no-no. Yeah.
you just gotta stay young. You just gotta pretend.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll probably get Botox soon or something. Go to Turkey, fix my
I was gonna
hair.
say, I was gonna say you need some Botox, but I didn't want to bring it up.
Thank you. I mean, you can say it. Yeah, I got a wrinkly
And
forehead.
and after the special, how do
Mm.
you move on? How do you get onto that next material? What is your kind of strategy?
Well, the funny thing is like, like I said, I kind of like free fell after Edinburgh into sort of slapdash putting together this special in late 2024. So
Hmm.
some of the material I actually cut from the special because then I was on the road uh, like crazy all last year, like kind of back and forth across the country, and so I didn't have a whole new hour right away, so I took a lot of those bits on the road, and some of them just got better to the point where when I was editing this thing a few months ago, I was like, "Nah, I'm gonna cut that out because it's just better now." So
Interesting.
yeah, there's a big closer that I just cut out. Um, that's way better now. Um, so I'll save that for another time. But and then there's some other ones. But yeah,
You
I
just have a
guess
bunch
it's
of
like,
nuggets and you just from
hmm?
before. You just have a bunch of nuggets you already had from before. You just keep those going, try to web in new jokes in between.
Yeah, the thing is like that special was like two shows back to back, and Arno, the bartender, was giving me real tequila sodas the whole time. So by the end of the second show, I'm pretty much on my sixth or seventh tequila soda. So there's some stuff I had to cut anyways, just because my brain and body are drunk. But because I had like 2 full hours to explore, and there's a lot of stuff on the cutting room floor that probably still could be put out individually or whatever, but it's like, yeah, I got to make like the rhythm that I wanted out of a lot of options. So there's still stuff that's out there, and also, yeah, on the traveling really helps build new material because I'm not a good sit down and writer. I like riff on stage and then record it, and then if I really like something, I'll listen back and then keep kind of doing those beats over and over again until it's just like in me, the
Hmm.
performance is in me. And yeah, so that's kind of how I do it. Just like put the iPhone beside me on the stool and record each set and catch the riffing. And it's it's rare now that I sit and write a joke from scratch. Like that usually doesn't come out.
Hmm.
It comes out pretty stiff or something. What about you?
Yeah, I've been definitely writing a lot more on stage lately. Just taking ideas up there and just seeing what comes up the first time, and then just whittling it away. I used to
Yeah,
write word for word, and that it's what you had to do when you start, but it's way better.
definitely. Yeah, that's cool. Like I like it when you start for the first bunch of years and you are writing it down in your notebook and then rehearsing it and then saying it verbatim on stage and then learning how to edit on stage because you're like it's almost like writing a tweet back in the day or something. It's like, yeah, that you start learning which words are extraneous and which words are clunky.
Hmm.
Yeah, I miss kind of doing it that way. Like I don't know if you noticed, but a lot of my newer stuff there's a lot more act outs and screaming and voices and stuff and sound effects. And I think that's because it's like sink or swim discovering it on stage. Like you can't really write that down, but
Yeah,
it becomes this whole physical act, the bits now, instead of like, that's what I mean, like sort of like New York cellar style comedy versus sort of this other weird alternative performance or something. I don't know. Or like vaudeville perform. I like to think of it more like vaudeville performance.
yeah, and I think
Yeah.
that keeps it fresh. That keeps it unique, and that's great.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely want to add more act outs, more things like that, because I can be very just just rely on the words a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I think as a full performer, you should be using your body, you should be using your voice, you should be, you know, taking those bigger chances.
Yeah, I think if it's natural to you, there's some people that are like so good at chilling and just their writing is so good and their personality is so good. Like, like Norm Macdonald or something. But also like, in Canada, like Harrison Weinreb or something. Or even like the late great Nick Nemiroff. Like, those guys just stand there. And my good pal Tom Henry is the same way. He can just stand there and the writing and personality behind it is so good. I always envy that. I wish I could do that actually. But every time I try to stand still on stage, my like body betrays me and I start doing like mime and shit like a clown. I don't know. So, yeah, I do envy those guys. Like they're amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I just can't
interesting.
do it.
Yeah, it's interesting that finding your voice on stage is actually just like almost like accepting who you are. It's like
Yeah.
it's not like you get to choose who you are. You just have to you're mining your own like style over time.
Yeah, that's the thing. You'll always see like a couple people in the audience like not feeling your vibe, and you're like, there's nothing I can do for you. You know, like it's just gonna happen. But I feel like, yeah, if you're feeling like yourself, if you're feeling like I want to, you know, sort of like move around more up there and explore different like styles of getting the joke or the punchline over with the crowd, like, yeah, you try everything for sure. I've tried everything, and then it's just sort of like after years and years and years, it just culminated into being sort of the sound effect clown machine. I don't know how to describe it. Like a lot of improv, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah,
So
you got to try everything. I tried to be like one of those stand still guys behind the mic. It's impossible for me.
it would be funny, like yeah, that's almost like a funny like show, like trying to just stay still. It'd be funny to watch that like as like a 20-minute video, just betraying yourself. I can see that being so funny,
Yeah.
but it's not what you want to do. You'd feel it. Yeah. Um.
Yeah. Yeah, I
What?
feel like when actually perform, like when you're in the height of performing and the crowd's going like everyone's going ballistic and you're like way in the zone. Yeah, I feel like I want to take like my clothes off and jump into the sky and turn into like a light beam that just shatters and showers down on everybody. But physically, I am too limited to execute that for now. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like once you're in the zone, sometimes you're like, it can get pretty abstract feeling.
Yeah. You lose your body. Like it's crazy. Everything's
Yeah.
working. Every little tiny look, every little tiny motion gets a laugh. You're like those are the dream moments.
Yeah, I've riffed this thing recently at a few shows where it's like, I'm like, I fucking hate my body. I wish I didn't have my body. I wish I was just like a glowing little ember in an ancient wizard's lantern. And then when the wizard's like, look, like over there beyond, you know, and I just kind of glow a little bit brighter for a sec. Like that doesn't make sense, but it makes total sense to me.
hmm
Okay, yeah.
And do you have any advice for younger people who are trying to find their voice, or is it's just
Well, I was thinking of like teaching a class on stand up, just a one off once at the comedy bar here in Toronto, but it
Mhm.
would be $5,000 a ticket. So should I give away my advice for free instead of get $5,000 per entrance fee?
Maybe a little snippet,
Um,
just a little tease?
a little teaser, so you're like, yeah, this is worth $5,000. Advice for them finding their own voice? Kind of like what I was saying to you is like try everything if you're feeling the impulse to go in different directions. Don't think you have to be one certain way, you know? Um, if you have impulses into directions that you're like, this is a gag that really makes me laugh, then just follow it because there's it's good over the years to learn like I'm pandering just to make the audience like me, or I'm deep into doing what I want to do and the audience is liking it. Those are two different paths, in my opinion.
hmm
So yeah, that's what I would say. Like,
Have you?
make sure you're doing it for yourself first, but
Yes.
also you have to consider the audience, obviously. But it's like this weird marriage of like, how do I do what I think is funny and the way I want to do it is funny, but I'm also not alienating the audience. You know, I'm bringing them in with me.
hmm
That's a
Have you?
lot. That's confusing. This is not worth $5,000.
That's great. That's great advice. Have you had bits that didn't work out at first and you just kept doing them until they worked?
Um, yeah, of course. Like sometimes, um, there's a button that you can add to the end, or there's just a different shift in perspective, or there's a different way of bringing the audience into the idea you're trying to convey. Like, a lot of people call me alt or like abstract, and I think that's because I don't know. Like that's another. It's kind of like what we are talking about earlier. It's like it's something that I just can't help. It's the way that I'm totally influenced by comedy. You know what I mean? Like Richard Pryor blew my mind when I was a teenager. Then I got into, Kids in the Hall, and Mr. Show is the reason that got me into comedy. So to me, I'm like, I'm doing what I love. Like I'm doing what I'm influenced by, which was like hot, hip, like funny comedy that everyone liked. So, sometimes you're just like, you might start at a place that you understand, but like you just need that line at the beginning. That's like a door to help the audience into the idea you're trying to convey.
Yeah.
So, for
Is there?
example, like, do you have a joke you're working on now?
I'm working on a joke. Yeah, about like I'm
But
trying to.
by the way, you're already a funny joke writer. I saw you kill at hecklers twice.
Oh,
So,
thank you, thank you.
yeah.
Yes, my newest joke is about how the positives of screen time, how screen time makes my kids dumber, and that's what I want because dumber people are happier. So I'm trying to convey.
That's yeah, that's really good.
I want my kids happy, not successful. Actually, dumb people are successful all the time too.
I was literally just thinking about the same thing, but not in context of like screen time would make my kids dumber, which is what I like. But I was thinking about trying to write bits about, and I don't have anything there, but it's like it is true. It's like, man, these dumb guys fucking rule right now. Um, yeah, but it's
Well,
like, okay, so for example, like my flavor to that would be like, man, times are tough these days, eh? What the hell? Everything's so dark, so negative. Um, it's hard for it's hard for people out there, eh? And then just give it a beat and just be like, not if you're dumb. You know what I mean? And then so you kind of already got a little punch there, and then you could be like, I have two kids, and I've really been thinking about, you know, finding ways to keep them dumb so they're happy. You know what I mean? Like dumb people are happy, and you just say the premise. I remember when I was doing Yucks, like many years ago, there was like a bunch of us comics would always talk about, like, especially because Yucks would put you in front of really broad crowds.
mhm.
A lot of crowds sometimes, like, in smaller towns that don't see comedy that often, so you really got to like lay it down for them, which is good practice. But it's like you say you say what the joke's gonna be, then you tee up the joke, you say the joke, and then your button is, this is the joke I just told. Do you see what I'm saying? So like
Yeah.
you already say the joke in your premise, then you say a beat that tees up the joke again, then you say a bigger version of the joke, and then you basically say a one liner that's like, and that was that joke. So you really walk them through. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you gotta yeah, you gotta pull them along each
Li-
step.
like you can literally start your joke by being like, dumb people are so happy, and then just be like, lucky. You know what I mean? It's hard being smart. I hate it. You know what I mean? And then
Great.
say whatever you want, because it's like, yeah, you basically like gave them the idea in like big fat crayon drawings first, and then you could get more intricate with it.
And then you add the detail around it, like you're making bubble letters, and yeah, you're adding the
Yeah.
shadow. That's
Then
great.
you're drawing this ornate dragon. Yeah.
The huge and
With spiked wings and talons. Yeah.
and what have you learned about like the business side of comedy? Like that's a thing I think people don't talk about a lot. Like, it's a tough business.
uh, yes.
How do you be successful in
Stop me
comedy?
if I start just laughing like a maniac for half an hour. The business is like comes and goes. It's really like one day you're like, I'm jumping off a cliff, and one day you're like, I did it. And it never stops kind of fluctuating like that. Um, and it's kind of like the my philosophy on like writing stand up or becoming a stand up. It's like at the end of the day, make sure that you are 100% in control of what you're doing for you. So if you got to do the social media, if you got to do the old school networking with everybody, if you got to take a moment to just take a hit with money and do sort of like goodwill tours, like do shows where you will be gaining fans and meeting people and getting experience, but you're kind of taking a hit with the money. But then you've got that sort of like base that you can keep going back to. It's as long as you're in control, I think you will always feel a little bit more secure in the biz.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah. So, and then it's kind of like when you're in your own groove, the good people show up because the audiences talk, the other comics talk, and they do some work for you too, just by singing your praises. So, like for example, you'll be going back and forth across the country, like gaining these little fans inch by inch, and especially in Canada, it's tiny. So you do what you can, but you people will hear, and then CBC shows up or JFL or Winnipeg, and then they give you like these good gigs, and then get some video, so you get some more exposure, like official video and stuff like that. But it really never stops being a grassroots organization, in my opinion.
Yeah, and you almost have to do it first. You have to go out there first and like explore. You're more of like a scout than like a yeah.
Yeah, if you're
Than
just kind of doing shows once or twice a week in the city that you live in, and then you do a showcase for a festival and you don't get that festival, I mean, you'll get mad at that festival, but really, like, how much work are it's all like, just keep going out there and make yourself undeniable is how I should put it. Let the audiences and the other comics do the talking for you. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm.
And then also practice other skills in comedy. Like if you like acting or writing too, try to work on that stuff during the daytimes when you're not out doing stand up, because you will have to diversify and do lots of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Or
maybe follow.
podcasts.
Exactly. You got to have a side gig to your side gig.
Yeah, yeah, totally.
That's great. And is there anything that you wish you learned about comedy when you were just starting out? Like, is there anything that you've learned not recently that you're like, I wish I knew this earlier?
I would say, especially in my 20s, I wish that my own personal stubbornness didn't limit me from experiences. I would say I really got rolling in my early 30s more, even though I was doing a lot in my 20s. I had still sort of like a teen punky attitude, like arrogant attitude for quite a while in my 20s. So, like there's just like little things in your 20s when you like see someone who maybe sucks, and then you're like you don't like that person because you're like, "Oh, they suck at comedy." I'm just saying for example, but it's like that's a limit. You're limiting yourself because everybody's trying their best, unless they're like a total asshole. Everybody's kind of trying stuff, and it doesn't fully form their whole personality or stuff like that. Or like I was saying with festivals, if you don't get something right away, don't be bitter and don't yap your mouth about to everybody about how that everything sucks. And it happens to the best of us all the time, but it's like, yeah, the more you just keep yourself open and say yes to all experiences, the better, the more well-rounded you will be as a fully functioning comedian, I believe. And I
Hmm.
was really like, yeah, kind of stubborn, especially in my 20s for sure.
Yeah. There's no one path in comedy, right? There's no
Hmm.
um
But
you
on the
just got to,
flip side, I will say that's the age where you almost need a blinding, confident arrogance to keep yourself going because you've got nothing else supporting you. So it's this weird like contrast where you're like, I gotta juggle, sort of like bolstering myself up against all this like adversity and challenges, but then also not being a dick and being open to failure and being open to maybe not being as like as much of a genius as you think you are. You've got like some roads to travel down. You know what I'm saying? Sorry to cut you off. I just like I felt like I could succinctly yeah,
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, exactly.
describe
Like
that better.
you need the a little bit of that bubble of your like to protect yourself because
Yeah.
it's horrible. It feels terrible when you're first starting out and you suck and it's not going well and like you feel all these ego deaths every time you go on stage, you know?
Yeah. And you feel the other comics who are good be like, "Okay, this guy." And then you're like, I think that was like in my 20s, and now that we've opened that sort of like Pandora's box, I can really remember like my I think my primary motivation for me to like kill was the street cred at first. Like
Mm.
get the old dogs being like this guy's got it or this guy's funny or whatever. Or like even like making the other comics in the back of the room laugh. Like that was my goal to just once you get that sort of like cushion behind you, you start relaxing a little bit. Yeah.
For sure. Like the less you like really need it to be funny, the easier it gets.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so funny. I never go back in my memories like that. It's like, yeah, because I started in the 2000s,
Hmm.
and it was such a good time because it was like it was such a good time and bad time because in in the States you had like Meltdown in LA and all these cool comics that were like, from Chicago and they all moved to LA and they had this really great crew, like Kyle Kinane and uh
I like
Kumail and
now.
Pete
Yeah.
Holmes and all those guys and Matt Bronger and then like in New York you had uh what was it? It was at Rafifi. We went invite them up, which like had Eugene Merman and that whole scene there, like John Mulaney, and then we're talking like early. Like I did shows with all those guys. I did shows with but I was younger and yeah, but we were I kind of came up in Canada at the same time as those people, but and Laugh Sabbath in Canada was kind of like that environment. We were kind of like inspired by those scenes in LA and New York. But and this is what I'm talking about. Is kind of the worst time too. Canada was still super very much, especially industry wise, like 90s evening at the 80s evening at the improv style comedy. So we come out and like we start Laugh Sabbath at the Rivoli downtown Toronto, and it's like this sort of alternative, like new trying anything sort of stuff comedy.
Mhm.
And there's no that's why I will always be 100% grassroots DIY because I had to we all had to we still have to like yeah so it was like this really great flourishing time of like people experimenting and pushing themselves um like Patton Oswalt and David Cross were like the best stand-ups at that time and they say crazy shit and they're not doing like airplane food or like my wife sucks jokes, you know what I mean? So it was really inspiring in that sense. But anyways, but yeah, in Toronto it was still like our generation never fully got like a break for a very very long time.
Mm, yeah.
But it was the fan base that we kept growing over and over again that really helped all of us. Yeah. And then as you know, I don't know if you know, but some of the early Laugh Sabbath guys went to LA around 2009, 2010, and they're all doing great out there. So, yeah,
No,
if you left, you did great. If you stayed, you kept chipping away like DIY style. Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
That's how Canada is, isn't it? Just it's just such a big, weird country.
Yeah.
It's there's not there's no like in the UK they have like talk shows and panel shows galore, but over here they have none of that.
Not really. They have CBC tries. They have debaters and they have Because News, and they're both really really fun shows to be on. Luckily, I get to be on them sometimes, but it is because Canada's got. I think Canada has more, you know, comedians than auto workers right now. You know what I mean? Everybody's been telling Canadians they're so funny for generations that it's like, okay, I'll just be a comedian. But then, like, we're all just hanging out
Yeah.
um, in this vast landscape. But so yeah, but like just for example, CBC debaters and Because News has to siphon, like, shuffle through a ton of comics, and it's really fun when you can get it, but it doesn't take, you know, it's not it's not a lot of options. Yeah, same with Just for Laughs, like, but you know what? There's a lot of uh, production companies, and Just for Laughs is back, and a lot of people are trying different ways to get Canadian comedians out there,
That's great. Yeah.
but it's like what you and your pal are doing. I saw the poster for the Deadbeat Dads tour. It's exactly what you got to do. It's great. Yeah, you
Hmm.
go and create your brand, and you tell everyone, like, you tell everyone to come and out and see the shows, and you're out there. So that never stops.
Yeah, and you got to learn how to enjoy that and be okay with it. Because it is fun when you have your own thing.
Yeah, it's like I feel like when me and my kind of early friend crew started doing improv and stand up, like in the early 2000s, there wasn't social media, so it was still akin to disappointing your family and running away to the circus. Like, it still had a slight connection like that, because it wasn't
Mm.
back then. Starting a garage band was still like cool. Comedy hadn't become cool yet. Comedy was still weird and like over there to the left a little bit. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
But then, especially with social media, comedy became really cool all of a sudden, and now the most popular comedians online are like beautiful babes. You know what I mean? So it's like but now the market is spread so thin and it's been like oversaturated. So that's kind of a good thing in a way, because it's like what we were just talking about with your independent tour and stuff. It's like it's kind of come back to the vaudeville, like, circus freak thing. It's like, I got to do this for the love, and I got to do it because I love it, and that motivation will always make you the better comic.
Hmm.
You see what I'm
That's great.
saying?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you have any other advice that you'd like to give to any younger comedians before we wrap up?
Um, I don't know.
No.
Like, maybe get wings instead of the burger before you go on stage.
That's great
won't
advice.
be won't be as heavy for your performance, but I would say have a banana 2 hours before, or an hour before the show. Then take advantage of the free pub food after your set. So you're not
That's,
all tired and logy and your blood sugar's not spiking.
yeah. I like to eat before, but you gotta eat like an hour and a half before. Like it has to, you gotta,
Yeah.
it's a whole planning thing. It's,
I did this really fun weekend 2 weekends ago in Kitchener, Ontario here, at a club called Rusty Nail, and it was really really fun. And they give you like a really good discount on some nice restaurant food. And I was really hungry. I waited too long, and I had the hot wings with using my logic, like, well, I'm not having like a big breaded huge bun and fries or anything like that. Just some chicken protein. That's got to be good, right? But it's still fried wings. So I come out on stage about a half hour or so later, and I do a big, like, yeah, all right, let's go, let's party, like all that kind of like fun. And then all of a sudden I feel my heart racing like crazy because I just ate like probably 70 million milligrams of sodium. So I was like, woo! So like the audience can't tell, but there's a part where I stop and I sip my drink and be like, take a deep breath and then like honestly that would be my best advice for comedians transitioning into headliner. Don't do the like don't get the free body body climate sabotaging meal before the headline set. Wait till after. Get a banana or something or yeah.
I've started to do more 40-minute sets, and it's exhausting. I
Yeah.
find
Yeah.
brain at 30-minute mark, I'm like, oh no, like how am I going to get through this last 10 minutes?
Yeah.
Is there is there anything you do when you feel that tiredness on stage?
It's just stage legs. The more you do it, the more like the endurance is there. You want to hear something crazy? Like two, no, actually, it's almost like, 3.5 years ago now. I went out to Hecklers and Vancouver, doing like, I think it was like Little Mountain Gallery or something, and then Hecklers, or no, it was like comedy here often. Remember those shows?
Oh
You
yeah.
know those shows?
The showcases, yeah.
I was doing comedy here often. It was like two shows back to back, and then get up the next morning and go to the ferry to Victoria to do two shows back to back at Hecklers. But for some reason, I don't know what it was. Something I ate after the Vancouver shows, uh, and then and drinking obviously. I slept like 1 hour, maybe two, but I don't think so. It's like an hour and a half. Then I was up at 3:30 a.m. Tossed and turned all night. Went to like losing my mind because I have these two like hour-long headline sets at Hecklers, or 45 to an hour. And I think I kind of crashed on the ferry for like maybe 20 minutes. You know what I mean? So I was like fucking livid. Like I was like, I'm gonna die. This club's never gonna have me back. I'm gonna be like, but there's something about when you just get like what I was saying, those stage legs, like, and I don't want to be in this position again. But
Mhm.
yeah, running on sheer exhaustion, I killed both headline sets at Hecklers, and then slept the best I've ever slept afterwards in the hotel there. But that was so scary to me. But and I still like just talking about it. I have PTSD because I fully remember being like, I can't do this, I can't do this, and like, feeling my heartbeat racing, feeling like I'm like not even in my own skin. But then you do it, and so I guess the best of that is like, I proved to myself that worst case scenario, it's in my blood and bones that I can still do it.
Mhm.
But man, fuck that. Sometimes that shit happens, and you're just like I heard this thing. I think it was from Paul F. Tompkins, like 20 years ago or something. I think he said like, if you're dying of like the flu, and you go out on stage and you kill, then you're like, a good comedian or whatever,
Oh
or
yeah.
something like that. And so then I was thinking like, does this like double headline set running on exhaustion count? Because like I think I pulled it off,
100%.
but it's so scary, and I don't recommend it. Take care of yourself, is what I'm saying. That's my advice. Physically take care of yourself.
That's great advice. Thanks so much for doing the podcast, buddy.
Thanks for
This has
having
been
me,
fun.
and you. Thanks, like I appreciate it, and I had a huge coffee the whole time too. So if I was too much of a chatterbox,
That's the
I
whole point.
apologize. Yeah, I was like, I love talking shop, like I was saying earlier, and so yeah, if anyone gleans stuff from this, I appreciate it. But otherwise, um, yeah, I'm just a ding dong. We're always trying to learn stuff. You're never done. So yeah, thanks. I appreciate it, and you're like killing it. And I hope the tours go well. Like how far are you taking it? Like,
Well,
is it
me and
just
Pierre,
local right now, or?
we've gone all the way to Saskatchewan. Um,
Oh, sweet.
yeah. So we do like about one weekend, 1 week a month, and so we do that every month, pretty much.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So
That's
we
so
can't do.
fun.
Yeah. We both have kids, so we can't do it too often, but once a month we go out,
Yeah.
and we've been doing that for three
Yeah,
years.
that's awesome. Yeah, same. Like I don't go on the road for like 3 weeks at a time anymore with kids. You got to pick
Hmm.
your pockets, right?
Yeah,
But
but
that's
it makes
great.
me.
So you must be finding like a fan base popping up after going back and forth.
Yeah, we do have some places are way easier to sell than others, definitely, and some places like it. We do have these following that keep coming back, but every time
Yeah.
it's a different beast. Every time you go on the road.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, that's good. Yeah, you got to come out to the East End sometimes.
Yeah, I'm definitely. I'm gonna try to plan it. I've been. It's a little intimidating to be honest, but I think once I'm over there, I think it'll be fine.
You know what? Toronto has like 5,000 comedians right now.
Hmm.
Um, and they're all trying their best, but I mean, I think if you're really good and you're naturally good, you stand out quickly and you can, you know, you can work here. But
Yeah.
also, the Maritimes is such a great place for comedy. If you ever want to go east, like
Okay.
New Brunswick and Nova Scotia and PEI and Newfoundland, like oh my god, I just told you what the Maritimes are, but but yeah, it's great stuff. Yeah, great stuff out
You
here
don't know if
too.
everybody on the West Coast knows.
Well, to be honest, even if you're in New Brunswick, you forget about New Brunswick. Um, it's just like this massive chill forest. It's pretty nice out there.
Nice. That sounds lovely. Can't wait to go explore more of this country. Yeah.
Yeah. If people are listening, check out Tiki Madness on YouTube. It's on my YouTube page, and it's by Macaw Productions, so it's on their YouTube page too. And it's really silly. And if you didn't know who I am and you listen to this podcast and you heard me spouting all of this crazy nostalgia and advice, and then you watch it and you go like, "What the fuck? This shit sucks." Totally reasonable. It's all right.
Al- Also, I recommend watching the Learning Nature with Chris Locke. That's such a funny series, man.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, I
Damn.
love
Yeah, appreciate it.
it. Thanks so much for being on.
Thanks for having me. That was awesome.
Thanks everybody for watching. Bye.